The news called it a strange illness, something no one had seen before. A man, raving mad, biting anyone in sight, his eyes wild, his movements erratic. Then another case, then 10. The numbers grew exponentially. 100. Now the screams outside my window tell a different story, a story of fear and chaos. This is no illness, it's a plague that spreads with a single bite, a nightmare, and it's consuming everything. Our world is crumbling. I remember the day it hit our street. It was a day like any other. Mrs. Henderson, sweet old Mrs. Henderson, lunged at the mailman. Her eyes were vacant, her movements unnatural. Her teeth, usually hidden in a warm smile, tore into his arm. The mailman's scream echoed down the street. Blood splattered on the sidewalk, a gruesome premonition of what was to come. It was just the beginning. The world went mad in a matter of days. Society broke down. Hospitals overflowed. Sirens wailed endlessly. There was no escape. The faces on TV, once calm and reassuring, now mirrored the panic in our hearts. The news offered no comfort. We were told to stay inside, to lock our doors, to protect ourselves from the madness outside. But how do you keep out a monster when it used to be your neighbor? When the familiar becomes the feared? The streets, once teeming with life, are now eerily silent, punctuated by the moans of the undead. The once vibrant city, filled with the hustle and bustle of daily life, now lies in ruins, a ghostly shadow of its former self. The stench of decay hangs heavy in the air, a constant reminder of the horrors that lurk around every corner. Every breath is a struggle, as the foul odor of death permeates everything, seeping into the very fabric of the city. Civilization has crumbled, leaving only chaos and terror in its wake. The once orderly streets are now filled with debris and destruction, a testament to the relentless onslaught of the undead. I remember watching from my window as the military tried to establish order. Their presence brought a fleeting sense of hope, a belief that maybe, just maybe, we could be saved. Their efforts were futile, like trying to hold back a tidal wave with a picket fence. The sheer number of the infected was overwhelming, and their determination was unstoppable. The infected, driven by an insatiable hunger, overwhelmed them, tearing through flesh and bone with terrifying ease. The soldiers, once symbols of strength and protection, were reduced to mere victims in the face of this relentless force. The screams of the dying echoed through the streets, a chilling symphony of despair. Each cry for help, each plea for mercy, was a stark reminder of the hopelessness that had engulfed our world. I can still hear them in my nightmares. The haunting memories of that fateful day replay in my mind, a never-ending loop of terror and sorrow. Those screams, filled with unimaginable terror, are a constant reminder of the fragility of life, of how quickly everything we know can be torn apart, of the darkness that lurks beneath the surface of our civilized world. In the end, it wasn't just the zombies that destroyed us, but the darkness within ourselves that we could no longer keep at bay. The infected are no longer the people we once knew. Their eyes, once filled with life and emotion, are now vacant, their gaze fixed and predatory, devoid of any recognition or humanity. Their skin takes on a sickly pallor, rotting from the inside out, as if the very essence of life is being drained away, leaving behind a grotesque shell. They are driven by a single primal urge to feed. This insatiable hunger consumes them, turning them into relentless predators. It's not just their appearance that's horrifying, it's the way they move, the way they moan, the way they crave human flesh. Their movements are erratic, their moans chilling, a constant reminder of their monstrous transformation. Their humanity is gone, replaced by a grotesque parody of life. What remains is a lifeless expression, a grotesque face that haunts the shadows. They are shadows of their former selves, animated by a hunger that knows no bounds. This hunger drives them to form hordes, moving through cities, reaching out with an insatiable need to feed. The transformation is rapid, brutal, and absolute. In mere moments, a human can become a monster, their humanity stripped away in an instant. One minute, they're your friend, your neighbor, your loved one. The next, they're a monster, driven by an insatiable hunger for human flesh. The change is so sudden, so complete. It's as if they were never human at all. And the worst part, they're everywhere. In every corner of the city, in every shadow, lurking, waiting. The infection spreads like wildfire, and no place is safe from their relentless pursuit. Survival is a luxury few can afford. We scavenge for scraps, for weapons, for anything that can give us an edge in this fight for our lives. Every day is a struggle against impossible odds, a desperate race against time. I've seen things that would make your blood run cold. I've seen friends torn apart, their screams swallowed by the groans of the undead. I've seen the light fade from the eyes of those who lost hope, their bodies left to rot in the streets. We are hunted, stalked by creatures that were once our neighbors, our friends. The world we knew is gone, replaced by a nightmare from which there is no waking. The only law now is survival, and the only rule is to kill or be killed. Section 5. Every second counts. Silence is our only ally. A cough, a whisper, a footstep can mean the difference between life and death. We move like ghosts, our senses on high alert, our hearts pounding in our chests. Every shadow could be our end. I remember the first time I had to kill one. It was Mrs. Henderson's son, Tommy. He used to mow my lawn, a shy smile on his face. But the infection had twisted him into something monstrous. I had no choice. The memory still haunts me, a stark reminder of the brutality of this new world. We are all soldiers now, forced to fight for our lives against an enemy that knows no mercy. Section 6. A city of the dead. The city, once a symbol of human achievement, is now a graveyard. Skyscrapers stand like silent sentinels, their windows reflecting the shattered remnants of our world. The streets are littered with the decaying corpses of the fallen, a grim testament to the insatiable hunger of the undead. The air is thick with the stench of death, a putrid perfume that clings to your clothes, your skin, your very soul. The silence is broken only by the moans of the undead, a constant reminder of the horrors that surround us. We are trapped in a nightmare, hunted by creatures that were once our neighbors, our friends. The world we knew is gone, replaced by a desolate wasteland where hope struggles to survive. Section 7. Hope's Last Stand. There are still pockets of resistance, small groups of survivors clinging to life. We share what little food and supplies we have, finding strength in numbers, in the shared will to survive. But the odds are stacked against us. We are running out of time, out of options, out of hope. The undead are relentless, their numbers swelling with each passing day. The world we knew is gone, replaced by a nightmare from which there may be no escape. But even in the darkest of times, the human spirit endures. We fight on, driven by a primal need to survive, to see another sunrise, to reclaim the world that was stolen from us. There is nowhere left to run, nowhere to hide. The infection has spread like wildfire, consuming everything in its path. We are trapped in a world on the brink of collapse, surrounded by horrors that defy imagination. The cities have fallen, the countryside overrun. The very air we breathe seems thick with the stench of death. The world we knew is gone, replaced by a desolate wasteland where hope is a flickering candle in the wind. We are the hunted, the prey in a macabre game of survival. The only rule is to stay alive, but with each passing day, the odds of survival dwindle. They are everywhere. In the shadows, behind closed doors, lurking around every corner. They are relentless, driven by an insatiable hunger that can never be satisfied. We are outnumbered, outmatched, and out of time. The world has become a hunting ground, a macabre buffet for the undead. We are the prey, and they are the predators, their senses heightened, their hunger insatiable. Every step we take could be our last, every breath a victory against impossible odds. The world we knew is gone, and in its place stands a terrifying new reality, one where survival is the only law. This is not a movie. This is not a game. This is our reality now. The dead walk, and they are hungry. You can choose to ignore the signs, to bury your head in the sand, but that won't save you. You need to be prepared. You need to be ready to fight for your life, for the lives of your loved ones. Learn how to defend yourself, stockpile supplies, find a safe haven, because when the dead come knocking, you won't have time for regrets. The world is a dangerous place now more than ever. Don't wait until it's too late. Prepare yourself, arm yourself with knowledge and the will to survive. The time for complacency is over. The time for action is now. Don't let fear paralyze you. Knowledge is power. Learn everything you can about the undead, their weaknesses, their patterns. Share this information with your loved ones, your neighbors. We are stronger together. This is a call to arms. The time for denial is over. The time for action is now. We are the last line of defense against the encroaching darkness. We must stand together, fight together, or we will surely fall. Subscribe to this channel and share this message. We need to reach as many people as possible. The fate of humanity may depend on it. Stay vigilant, stay prepared, and stay alive.